Hello, so my name is Neha Kulkarni. I am talking on behalf of the team Data Divers. Our research question is based on Indian startup funding. So the question is how startup funding in India has changed over time and which industries are favored. So basically Indian startup ecosystem started late 1960s with the start of TCS, followed by Infosys in 1981 and others. These startups started as software services serving Indian software needs. And in the present decade, India is planning a vital shift in the direction of startups, welcoming policies and business-friendly entrepreneurs environment. So coming to the data set, we first of all imported the libraries that were necessary, and then we got the data set from different websites, one from GitHub and another one from track.in. So this data set has information on startups starting from 2016 to 2020. It has various columns which include date funded, name of the startup, city in which the startup is based out of, the name of the investors and the amount invested. So the questions that we'll be answering are what is the total funding in each year? What are the top 10 industries which are favorite of the investors? Top 10 cities which have maximum startups, industries where funding is maximum, and the types of investment with maximum startups. So we imported the data, and this is the description of the data. These are the columns, and it has redundant and some of them are null, so we'll be pre-processing it. So basically we're converting the entire data set into lowercase, and then we perform EDA, removing misspelled attributes or anything, all the rows which are redundant, and we're grouping the types of investment because they're separated by hyphens or commas. All such things will be grouped into one kind of investment type. So yeah, this is the EDA thing. And because we're concerned only about the year, we'll be splitting the date into day, month and year, and then we'll drop day and month because that's not necessary for us. And then we're grouping the industries also. So here it is the amount allocated to startups with respect to years. So we're grouping based on year. So every year, what is the amount invested in startups? So it's in billions. This is the graph where it's highest in 2016, drops in 2017 due to demonetization, and then gradually increases and then falls again in 2020 due to the pandemic. So this is a graph of industry versus the number of startups from 2016 to 2020. As we can see, the highest number of startups are in the customer services industry and least in social media. And here is the top 10 cities with maximum number of startups, and Bangalore has more than 1100 startups, followed by Mumbai and New Delhi. Bangalore is the most favored for startups. The fund received for, and then we're grouping the fund received for each industry. And we can see that e-commerce has the highest funds. So this is one of the industries favored mostly by the investors. And percentage distribution of startups based on location. Bangalore has close to 31% of the country's startup, followed by Mumbai with 19% and New Delhi with 15%. And then investment type versus the number of startups. Most startups get their funding during the seed funding stage itself, followed by private equity. And coming to hypothesis testing, before we proceed to any of the machine learning algorithms, we are supposed to know if the columns are dependent on each other, if they are related to each other by any way. So we performed chi-square test. So we're comparing the fund received with the location of the startup. So our null hypothesis is that the fund received column and the location are independent of each other. So it's proven that it's false. The null hypothesis is rejected, which means the fund received and the location of the startup may be dependent on each other. So we try to perform live base. So this is a machine learning model that is used to discriminate different objects based on certain features. So it's a probabilistic machine learning model that's used for classification. So after we perform live base, we train the model and we test. So the recall, precision, and FM score and accuracy is as shown. Thank you.